Okay, this here is the lead bend that leads up to the bathroom from the main stack, and this is where the toilet is going to connect. So I decided not to go with the PVC because the bottom of the lead bend is somewhat oval. It's kind of hard to pick up, but it also tilts backwards in the back. So I don't have a straight circular mating surface to use the PVC pipe in. That's the one that has the rubber gasket that's expandable, and it just wouldn't engage with a tight seal. So I decided to go with this bronze flange instead, because it's much shallower, doesn't go down as deep, so it's able to engage the top of that pipe, which is circular on the very top. As it goes down, it eggs out and tilts backwards. So I will have a better seal this way. So what I had to do is clear out some of the thin set around the hole here and nibble out some of the tile. You see, like right there, I got it nibbled out so I could drill a hole for the screw that's going to fasten it to the floor. There's another one there. I had to just nibble it out. So I used my diamond tipped hole saw to get these little sections drilled out and clear out the underlying thin set. And I also cleared out the patina around the inside of the pipe and the outside of the pipe. So see how it's shiny? So that's necessary so when I solder this in, I have a clean surface. So now here's the flange, and you'll see that the parts that I nibbled out coincide with the holes for the toilet flange to be fastened down to the floor. So there's one there. There's let's see, there we go. There's the other one right there. You can see the hole down the bottom, and there's a third one. So what will happen now is I will peen over with a special round tool to get this lead bend here up against this chamfered surface here. So it's a round tool. You just kind of tap it around, tap, 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 and you work it, and it'll flare it out until it's fully engaged on this flange right here. Once it's fully engaged, then I can solder it. I also got this drilled out so it's ready to accept the screws. So I got it all pre-drilled. So get these in here. So there's the second. So there's the second one there. There's the third one, and we got the fourth one. So these are all pre-drilled. Let me see. What's wrong with that one? There we go. So those are all pre-drilled to accept the fasteners. So what I would do before I commit to actually doing this is I have to do what's called tinning on the inside of this surface. And that's basically you put tinning flux on here, take some 60-20 bar solder, and you put solder on this whole edge here to get it. It's called tinning. So you're putting solder, coating this with solder. So then when I flare this edge up against it, now when I drop my solder in there, it's going to actually stick. Because when you do tinning, that sets it up so that the mating surface that's going to be soldered will already have a soldered surface. So they'll be alike materials, and they'll solder up nicely. So that's what I'll do next. And I also cleaned out the inside of this, because when I flare this out, this surface is going to be up against that surface. So it has to be clean on the outside diameter, the inside diameter, and this edge here have to all be clean. And then I'll solder that sucker in there, and I'll fasten this thing down so it's, it stays stationary. So I got some supplies on order to do that. I have some tinning flux coming from Amazon. That'll be here on Saturday. I also have the correct solder, the 60-40 solder, and I also have a sealant that would go, if this doesn't work, I can use a polyurethane sealant on this lip, but it has to be much, much closer. This has to be fully engaged around the periphery of this. So I'm going to put this project to rest. It's Friday afternoon. I'm heading off to work, and not too much got done from me in regards to renovation work, but I did do a lot of preparatory tasks. One of which was to reinstall our old bathroom exhaust fan in the cellar casement window dryer vent hole, because what I need to do is tin the toilet flange before I mount it permanently on the floor of the bathroom, and then form the lead bend up to its angled surfaces and solder it together. So I wanted to do that inside because it's kind of a cold day, and trying to tin a bronze toilet flange in cold weather is kind of self-defeating because it's so cold out that I won't be able to heat it up properly. So I ordered some supplies from Amazon last night. They should be here Saturday, and that's tinning flux and 60-40 bar solder. That's the recommended material to use to solder a lead bend. So first thing I have to do is tin the flange, and what that basically means is I have to turn the bronze flange surface that's going to mate with the lead bend. I have to coat it with solder. And tinning just makes it so that the junction between the brass and the lead bend is cohesive, because you can't solder directly onto bronze. You have to tin it first, which is putting a layer of solder on the bronze. Today I got the lead bend prepared to accept the bronze flange, and there was a bit of sculpting work I had to do to get that to work, because the bolt pattern was extended past the lead bend and up over the top of the new floor tiles. So I had to drill some holes in the floor tiles with my diamond drills so that I could accommodate the fasteners that are needed to secure the bronze toilet flange to the bathroom floor. So it was a combination of chiseling and drilling and sculpting to get the proper clearances for the fasteners to get through the floor and bite into some solid wood. So that's all done. I also took the patina off the lead bend on the top where I'm going to be doing the work, so that there's no contamination to be introduced in the soldering process. And basically I just took a sharp implement and scraped the outside diameter of the lead bend up at the top inch. Got that nice and clean. Then I took a wire brush and just kind of scrubbed that to get any remainder contamination off the outside diameter. Then I switched my focus on the inside diameter and the top of the lip of the pipe where it's cut, just so that the whole area, the outside diameter, inside diameter, and the end of the pipe are all nice and clean. So I got everything fitted and ready to go in. Now, next procedure is to wait for Amazon to deliver some supplies. I ordered some 60-20 solder, some tinning flux, and something else I ordered. And I got some urethane sealer as a plan B in case the soldering process goes haywire or just isn't working out. So I have two methods of attaching that. The preferred method is soldering, but the backup method is to use urethane sealer between the flange and the lead bend. But I still have to bend over the lead bend to engage it with the chamfer on the toilet flange. So regardless of what method I end up using in the end, I still have to manipulate that lead by flaring it out so it's flush up against the chamfer on the toilet flange. So
that's the plan. So I have two methods of attaching it. The preferred method is soldering, and the secondary method is a urethane sealer. But in preparation for the soldering, I need to tin the chamfer on the lead bend, not the lead bend, the toilet flange, the bronze toilet flange needs to be tinned. And you just put the tinning flux on there, use the 6040 bar solder, use a torch to melt the solder and drip it onto the flange and get that all covered with solder. And that's just a preparatory procedure. Tinning makes it more acceptable for the next layer of solder to be adhered to the flange when I try to drip it between the lead bend and the flange. It'll make more sense when I actually do it. I'll film it so you can see what I'm doing. But basically, there's the flange has an angle. The lead bend is straight. I got to bend it to match the angle, so the gap between the bronze toilet flange and the lead bend are as tight as I can get them. So when I drip the solder around the periphery of that connection, it catches on the lip of the lead bend that's engaged with the bronze toilet flange. So you just drip that all the way around, just get it sealed up that way. Then you heat it up a little bit more, and you take a rag covered in wax and kind of force it down the gap, and you put multiple layers of solder in there till it's built up to a nice solid connection. You don't just put one layer of solder, you put multiple layers. So I'm going to give that a try. I've never done it before, but I don't see why there's any reason why I won't be successful if I take my time and just kind of work it and figure it out as I go. If I'm not satisfied with that connection, I can use the urethane sealer, but I would have already sealed it as best I can with the solder. So that's the plan. I also got some stainless steel screws to fasten the bronze flange to the floor. So I have all the proper hardware to lock that down so it's not moving anywhere. So when I start to manipulate the lead bend with my bending tool, everything will stay put. And it's basically just a round punch that you just tap in a circular motion and gradually manipulate that metal. It's very malleable. Just manipulate that lead until it engages the flange, and then you go from there. So I'll film it. I'll show you how that's going to happen. It's going to take quite a while to do the whole thing. Probably at least an hour, maybe two. But I'm looking forward to giving this a try. It's something I've never done before, so I'm pretty sure it's going to come out just fine if I take my time and learn as I go.